says we are live. Let me check on YouTube. Sorry for being a minute late, everyone. I stayed over at my mom's again last night unexpectedly. Just 'cause too lazy to go home yesterday, and my mom has a family friend staying over, so we were chatting and lost track of time. My bad. So, Chandra, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Candra Arthur. I write historical fiction, science fiction, and fantasy. I also make videos sometimes, and I'm half of Flash Fiction Live, which you can find at 8:30 on Saturday mornings on either my channel or Natalie Locke's channel.
Hi, I'm Nina. I'm a writer from Austria. I sometimes write stuff, I sometimes don't. Today, I don't know what I'm doing. I will either be writing or I will be reading, but I'm not quite sure. And also, if my puppy makes weird noises, I'm sorry. Someone is doing a little bit of construction and he hates that. So he might
First
bark.
of all, never apologize for your puppy. The same way Chandra doesn't apologize for the fact that her cat Dobby just lunges into frame all the time. You never have to apologize for your pets. It's more just if there's a concerning sound, I might be like, is everything okay?
That also doesn't include the time that I shouted because he almost lit his tail on fire. So.
Yeah. Obviously, things can go wrong with your pets, but you never have to apologize for your pet being the reason you suddenly have to mute or something. We love our pets.
What kind of puppy? He is a my puppy is a collie, with long hair, rough collie. And I mean, he's a year old now, but he's still a puppy because he's still a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
That's say that they're technically still puppies until they turn 2, in which case they become an adult dog. And I'm like, yeah, right.
No, I know a lot of puppies and adult dogs, and some of them are 15 and they still are puppy-like. I hope
Riley, if you put her next to a puppy, Riley's not here, by the way. I'm sorry. My mom and I were out for many hours on Friday because it was Passover and my mom didn't want her here alone for too many hours. So she's not here. But anyway, Riley is 10. And since maybe she's 5, if you put her next to an actual puppy, you would be like, you are too young to be this grumpy about young puppy energy. And you being like, I don't have time for this. This was you, almost as long as you're half your life ago. You're not that superior. But when she's in a group of people, aside from being well trained and stuff like that, although she was well trained as a puppy too, because that's when we did it, she'll act like a puppy, to get the attention from people. She'll be like, see, I'm still as cute as I was back then. And we're like, that was never a question.
Mine with she's 4, so most of the time she's pretty grown and sleeps a lot and minds her own business. But if you go by the front door and tell her do you want to go OUT, she will lose it and she starts doing these hops in circles and she has no traction on the floor and she it's so funny, but she's very clumsy. So that's the most puppy she gets, but other than that, she's very put together.
My mom made me breakfast.
Aww,
Parks is streaming at home. Well, I should close my door.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Heather. Hi, Regina. Hi, Crow. Hello. Great username. And then Kelly. Hi. I think that's everyone in the chat. During the first sprint, I'm going to be putting in my contacts because I got like 2 hours of sleep. AO3 is a freaking cursed website. So yeah, I got like 2 hours of sleep, and if I put contacts in, I'm less likely to nap. I also have no time to nap today because I'm seeing a matinee and then dinner. Maybe I'll just go to sleep super, super early tonight.
I feel like we had very similar nights because someone at work called out, so I worked 16 hours yesterday from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m.
I mean, I could have gone to bed. I wanted to go to bed at like 7:30, and my mom was like, stay up until 8. And then I stayed up until 8, not even watching NCIS like she said, but then it was like 8, and I was like, might as well watch one. Then we watched 2. And then I was like, I'm going to sleep at 10. And then I was like, you know what? I feel like I want to reread one of my favorite flicks. They're short. They're 3 long, but they're 2 of them connected. Fine. The mistake was when I was going through the rest of the ones I had marked for read later, and one was 25 chapters. And I was like, you know what would be super smart? Starting at 11 p.m., read the 25 chapter.
It was a good idea. I stand by that. You did nothing wrong.
I was like, God damn it. I was like, this was such a bad idea. But at the same time, the show that I'm seeing later today is Michael Jackson, the musical. So it's not like I'm going to fall asleep during that because of the music. So it's like, I might pay for it when I have a headache later, but I can take headache medicine.
But did you finish the book?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the kicker is that I've been really good about if the fics not finished, this girl doesn't read it because I need it done. It's a 60 chapter story and there are only 25 chapters, and I still decide to read those 25 chapters instead of going to
Mm-hmm.
But before the 25 chapters, I also read a 13 chapter thing that I hadn't read from start to finish. And that would have been like, okay, fine. Like, did you stay up until late? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I still support this decision.
I know, but 5:30 is this is stupid territory for me, and I know it. And the fact that I'm functioning at all for this, I'm like, I don't know what I did to earn this, but thank goodness. So I was like, I don't want to cancel another stream.
Honestly, either way, I'm happy to be here. Do not get me wrong. But if you'd be like, I didn't sleep, I'll be like, oh, yeah. But I have stuff I need to get done today.
Yeah, so I have stuff I need to get done too, which is why I was like, I really can't afford to just cancel, because if I cancel, I'm sleeping in, which means I'm still not getting the stuff done. Anyway, with that said, do people in the chat want to say what they're working on while I get this forest room set up? Ooh. Also, I in check. Did Grayson say that something about not coming, or because Charlie told me that can't make it.
I didn't see anything, but
I'm looking at the chat. I don't see anything from Grayson. I keep saying Grayson because I don't remember the pronouns.
He's acting like I didn't spend any time with him yesterday, but he slept in my lap most of the time I was working, so I don't feel sorry for him.
Oh, no. I mean, half the time I don't feel sorry for Riley either. And my mom would be like, but she's looking at you. And I was like, she always looks at you like that. The trick is not to look back at her and to be manipulated.
I see nothing.
And then she'll cry at me a little bit when I don't respond. She'll be like, okay, screw this, and turns back to mom. And I'm like, I don't know why you ever bother with me, Riley. Like, I'm rock solid. You're not getting me.
I'm so behind on camp. And I still
not talk about that because I think today I wanted to work on my grad school project, which like isn't the final version isn't even due until the 25th. So like I have time, but I want to knock that out. But I did no work yesterday and I had wanted to read like 25 pages of this manuscript, and that was too much for me to ask myself yesterday because it's that bad of a manuscript.
Oh no.
So now I have to read 50 pages today, maybe like 25 minimum to be on track for tomorrow. So I was like, fuck. Anyway, the forest room code. So that's what I'll be doing. If you see my head bent and you see me like maybe banging my head against my window, that's why.
You're a champion. And we need people like you.
Oh no, I'm not quitting this job, but it's just like I wish people were better writers.
Me, while I'm writing, I wish people were better writers. I am people.
No, but here's the thing is that everything I've read from at least the people I know on AuthorTube, like anytime people have put like something somewhere, like in Kate's chat where it's a premise or a line or a paragraph or whatever across multiple comments in like a live stream or on your channels or whatever, I'm like, this is good. And then I read the stuff that people have actually submitted and I'm like, what is wrong with this picture?
Though, it's funny because my friends who don't write, they're like, you've been writing for so long. Like, why don't you publish something? Why don't you submit something? And I'm like,
no, I was complaining. I was because Kelly and I will sometimes co-work, and I worked from home on Friday because I was like, oh, I have to leave early today. It doesn't make sense for me to go into the office, and then it turned out that we like all just got a half day unexpectedly because it's Passover and Easter weekend. But anyway, I was working from home, so I was co-working with Kelly. We're gonna start the first sprint soon, I promise. And I was complaining. I was like, it's like the same thing when like a woman won't apply for a job that she's like 80% qualified for based on the like requirements listed in the job. But a guy who's like maybe 30% max qualified will be like, sure, I'll apply. And it's like, look, if you're overconfident, fine, shoot your shot. I'm not going to be the one to pick you if your quality's bad. But the people who are good, I'm like, just shoot your shot.
I feel like that's where my friends are.
Get you.
Yeah. I definitely have that thought about myself, and my friends are like, just do it. And I'm like, but what if it's terrible? And
oh yeah, I told Kelly when we were co-working, there were 4 straight paragraphs about this girl wearing a ratty sweater and sweatpants. And I was like, look, I have aphantasia, so 1 paragraph about this would have meant nothing to me, but 4 right in a row is not okay.
That sounds like, honestly, I don't know if you've read any Asimov, but I get the reason for it because, he's one of the founders of science fiction as we know it today. So of course he had to have extra descriptors because no one had read anything like it. But trying to go back and read it now is painful at best. And we all have sweaters.
What is it? Even when you read 1984, which like that and Brave New World, and I forget which other one. I had to read like a bunch of like start of the dystopian genre fiction because I took a class about it, which was interesting. The movies we watched were want to tear my eyes out, but like you can be at the start of a genre and still have writing that doesn't want to make me like roll over and do anything else. Like, okay, maybe like back then, like I get it. People wrote in a certain way. Like some people just hate Shakespeare, although I think Shakespeare's always better acted than written, but I'm okay with reading it. Like some people just can't. Fine. Some people don't like Jane Austen. which
What?
I think people need to give her a chance. If you don't like the Brontes, I'm like, good for you, girl. Good for like being brave enough to say that, because
I do like the Brontes. I also like
I
Tommy
like their
Carter.
writing. I hate that anyone thinks that their male characters are romantic heroes. I'm like, that is toxic. But then again, we have, you know.
Oh no, I never took it that way.
But then again, we have Christian Grey, and people also think that. So clearly, we haven't gotten better in society.
But if people don't like Jane Austen, I definitely recommend Lady Susan.
Oh, Lady Susan is like, it's like Bridgerton before Bridgerton. And also for people who are like, oh, Bridgerton's like Gossip Girl. The Gossip Girl books were inspired by the Bridgerton books. So if you want to go back to like when all the gossip stuff was happening, Lady Susan is your thing.
Yep. Do it. You won't regret it.
Yeah. You know, and I know some of you in the chat are like, oh, well, we want you to be our agent. First of all, you got to wait till like 2 years, buddy, like to even query me before I can start taking on clients. Second of all, while I love you all, I'm making no promises, because I'm saying that now. I don't want to break any friendships by being like, oh, yeah, I promise, and then change my mind. No promises being made. But also, even if you do want me to be your agent, querying now can give you practice. And if you get an agent, great. I don't recommend getting an agent and then leaving an agent unless something really, really wrong happens. But like, don't just keep sitting on stuff because you're afraid it's not good enough, because I can guarantee all of you that it's better than all the slush that I've read in the 3 months, almost 3 months that I've been at this shop.
I also want to say, and I don't really know the process. Like, I haven't started querying yet, but don't you, before you start accepting queries, don't you have to decide these are the genres that I'm good with? These are what I will be working with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I know a thing.
I mean, agents sometimes change their minds and they'll update it, whatever. But it's like, yeah. You always got to keep an eye. So basically, stalk every agent you're interested in on Twitter. And also get, I always forget what the author side one is. Natalie, what's the one that you were on? Was it Query Manager or Query Tracker? Because I've used the agent side one more than the other, so I can remember. They're sister sites. It's like the same. I can't, whatever. Anyway, yeah, everyone should get one of those accounts. It's free, I'm pretty sure. Let's share the timer or we're never going to start. And in 3, 2, 1, happy productivity, everyone. How did everyone do?
I need a trough of coffee.
You need or you made?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm working on something that I've been like dreading, but like I really, 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 really need to do it. But I deeply do not enjoy this process.
Is it a
filling out
paper or
paperwork.
something?
It's paperwork. It's just super unfun paperwork. And there's just acres of it.
I don't think paperwork is ever fun.
It's true. It's true.
I read 63 pages of Breakable Things by Katie Wismar and like marked some of the poems up because I decided I would start actually using all of the post-its that I have and not only collecting them, but actually putting them somewhere.
I like that. So I didn't actually get to work until there were only 12 minutes left on the clock, but I got through 7 pages. And it's better. That's all I can say. But I feel like once I get attached, I'm trying not to grow attached to this character because there are like 4, as far as I can tell, there are 4 different parts. Nope, that's not true. There are 5, 7. There are 7 parts. And they're each from a different character's perspective. And I gotta tell you, if this is your debut book, please don't do this.
I mean, yeah, that is all.
So I can say is just please don't. Or if you do, don't query me with it.
You know, it's funny because I was thinking about that the other day. One of my manuscripts tend to be on the shorter side.
Yeah. And you were thinking, oh, what if I add another POV?
Well, oh no. One of them I have like 84, and I'm just like, you're not ready. You're not ready. Just put it, you can write on it as much as you want, but just like know that it's going to be 20 years before you're actually ready to do anything with that. And be okay with that, which is why I have made attempts at other standalone projects, which are going well. But like I have this monster project in the background that I've been working on in some regard for the past 10 years. And I know there's just too much to it. I literally do not have what it takes to get it ready right now. I don't. I'm okay.
My boss said that if it's a debut and it's more than 80,000 words, he's like, so not every agent feels that way. I just want you all to know that. But I feel like, yes, if you're writing a fantasy, the expectation is that it's longer. But I think the best thing to do is to like either aim for the middle word count of like any genre that you're writing, if you're looking to traditionally publish, or do like between the base number and the middle so that, you know, basically you don't want to hit the maximum. That's just going to scare people off versus, you know, if you get the agent and then you sell the book to a publishing house through an editor, and then the editor is like, okay, we got to beef up this stuff. Or like, okay, I need you to do a rewrite. And then that turns like into a longer thing that's closer to the higher end. Then it's like, okay, but like your book's already sold. So like you're cool.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. For me, my fantasy is at 90,000 and I am an underwriter, but that's also the first book in the project that I'm just like, it doesn't matter because you're not ready. You're just not.
Yeah, I mean, whatever draft you're on, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, when you submit, like,
Yeah.
You maybe don't turn in a 120,000 word fantasy novel.
Right. Well, and I mean, to me, like, I think it could probably get there, and that's the problem. But I also have a sci-fi project that I'm working on that I think it's like 60. I want to say it's like maybe 65.
But like, here's the thing is that I think, I always feel this way because sometimes I get closer to my word count goal the first time around. And then when I'm revising, I'm like, I know that I tend to skimp on description just because I have aphantasia. So I ask my alpha readers, who are Crow, Regina, and Natalie, who are all in the chat. So hi. I'll be like, what do I need to describe more? Because like, I know I'm missing something. Let me know as you're reading through, like, what needs more description. On top of like, does this make sense? Did I mess up a sentence? Did I mess up a plot point? Like, things like that. But I think you should always write the story as it comes to you, and then revise it so that it's as best as you can be. But if you're going for traditional publishing, part of what you should be keeping, at least in like the back of your mind, is the word count goal. So, if you know that you're like really close to the max and you're adding in stuff that doesn't really need to be added in, maybe be like, maybe I don't need to add it in.
One thing I do for me, and I don't know if anybody else does this, but I find it helpful if there's something that doesn't necessarily go in the story, but I want to write it, I write it as an additional, like a bonus scene, or like almost like a short to the side of it, and I include it in the same manuscript, but I don't put it in like sequential order. I'll go to the end, like past where I have marked for my epilogue or whatever, and then I'll write an extra scene and I'll just title it. So I know this isn't part of the book, but there, I got to do something fun with it that I wanted to do for me, but it doesn't have to go beyond this.
I love that. Also, though, if those books ever get published, you could post those on Ko-fi.
This is true.
Those extra scenes.
I like that idea.
I'm pretty sure that I think I owe a cut scene from each book in the Stellar Blood trilogy to my Ko-fi based on the amount of like financial support I've received, and I just like it's fallen by the wayside. Natalie, if it's not clear, I obviously didn't go home last night, so I will be mailing out your book tomorrow. Because all my author copies are now at my place. For a while, I had some here, and then I was like, oh, when am I going to stream here again? And the answer is more frequently than I thought, but still like not enough for me to feel justified in bringing the books back. Iona? I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly, but I'm glad to hear that you're close to finishing homework. That's awesome. Past the 26K mark. That's awesome. You passed the 25K mark, or we're at the 25K mark on Friday, because you had commented that on Kate's stream with her brother, because I was watching it on replay yesterday, because I was at Passover Seder when they were.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
To reward myself for getting through a large part of this paperwork, is it wrong for me to not work on my nano project and to edit something else that I'm excited about?
It's Camp Nano. Do whatever you want. Like, if it were November Nano, I'd be like, I'd be like, I feel like you should be working on your nano project, but it's camp. I'm like, whatever, do whatever you want. Like, I need to be reading this. I need to be working on. I need to be working on my camp nano project, but I also need to be finishing my grad school final project, which is like an actual need on top of this reading. So it's like April is. Look, I've edited the first 8 chapters fully of my 46 chapter book that I wrote in like November Nano. I am pretty sure I will be able to get through the like at least chapter 10 before the month is out. If I'm like gonna maybe lie to myself, I'll say chapter 12. But there's no way I'm finishing this whole book like I even thought in my head that I could. Maybe it's like, you know, I just made progress, and that's what's making me happy.
Yeah, the idea of editing this project is making me happy, and I feel that I should.
You can also change your camp project.
Oh, I could, couldn't I?
I mean, I gave up on my camp project on like day 2.
I only set a goal of 15,000. I was like, oh,
only I set a goal of 1,000 because I was like, that's what I need to get from my 59,000 word draft 1 to like my 60,000 like goal. And then, you know, if it goes up to like 65, like whatever, it'll probably like not be surpassed 63. And I don't even know if I'll get that far given like how the editing's going. But it's just like, just change it to what you want it to be.
Well, so I have my last nano project is at like 50,000 and it's not done. There's like 5 chapters left. So I was like 15,000 would be plenty to finish the draft, but I don't want to.
So yeah, it's camp. Change your project.
I need to finish that book though. That draft. I need. It's. You're right. It's fine. It's fine.
It's camp. It's not that big of a deal. As I said, I quit on day 2, just because April was a lot busier than I had anticipated. But I just decided that I would count other words to my camp project too, because I mean, I'm still not gonna get to the 25K that I was planning to get, but I have some words at least written, and they aren't in the same project. They are in various projects. Some is schoolwork, but I just, I decided
that's why fine. I track all my words, and that's why I have that graph every single week.
I need to update. I need to update my Milwordy spreadsheet, even though I know I'm failing hard.
So, okay, I named the one that like September 1st through August 31st, like the first video that Kate made, and then later she was like, "Oh, I'm restarting it." And then she didn't finish that one either, which like whatever, who cares? She had said in her like announcement video that like, "Oh, this is just an experiment to see how long I can track it, but we're gonna call it this, is whatever." I called mine Milwordy then. And this year, I'm just like, nah, 2022 words. Like, words for this year. Tracking. And I can't even say I'm tracking it all because while I'm copying and pasting the words of all of my emails into wordcounter.net, which is lovely, lovely site.
Wait, what? Wordcounter.net?
Yeah. And it's also how I count like my words for my social media posts, which I do count. I do not count the messages that I write via Microsoft Teams to my boss. I think that's too far. That's too far. I'll count the emails I write in Microsoft Outlook, but I'm not counting things in Teams. That's just like, I don't.
See, I feel like you just got to assign a value each day for like, this is approximately how many words I write in Teams and go with that. Because otherwise you spend more time trying to count the words than you actually do writing. And that's what
Microsoft, that's what wordcounter.net is. You just copy and paste based on the timestamps for the day, and then it's boom.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that.
Anyway, Grayson, do you want to do an intro before we start the next sprint?
Sure. What it do, everybody? My name is Grayson Wild, and I write with pride. I like diving in a pen into the warm mugs of coffee. What's good, y'all? Today I'm going to be working on Druid's Oath, which I did the no-no and I erased the words I was working on. I had about 7,000 and I erased them because I was unhappy. So I started over, which I shouldn't have done.
Kelly and I mentioned it in multiple of our podcast episodes where we both went through stages of like, I hate all of it and throwing it all out despite people in our lives being like, you should keep these old versions. And we're being like, no. And then we're both like, they were right.
No, normally I have like on my second screen, I normally have a page up. So if I'm like, okay, I'm unhappy, I take those words, copy and paste them on a different file, and just put them away in my little cemetery. No, this time I just said, screw it, I'm done, and erased it, and then walked away. Came back 2 minutes later, started over, and I was like, what have I done? I shouldn't have done
what software are you writing in?
What was I using? Kahana.
Oh, okay.
That is.
I was gonna say, if it's Google Docs, there's actually versioning a lot of times. So even if you delete it, you can basically go back to a certain point in time where you were not as upset with yourself.
Here's the thing is that in Scrivener, it's not automatic that way, although there are automatic backups, but like figuring out which backup with some crazy number is the one that you're looking for. Sorry, Chandra. Davi looks like it's being a pain. Is that like any time where I'm like, I feel either I'm like, okay, I know I'm starting a new draft, so I'm going to take a snapshot of this current version, or if I ever feel the instinct of like, screw this, I'm going to completely rewrite it, I still take a snapshot so that it's essentially like a version of that document within the binder. Cause like maybe I do like the other chapters or whatever, but it's every single time I'm like, I know I'm making big changes. And it's not like, oh, I started writing this chapter, but I didn't finish it. I don't take a snapshot between those days, but it's like, okay, this chapter's done for now. Take a snapshot. Keep going.
I try to, I write in Google Docs, so I try to, when I finish a draft, save, duplicate, rename that as the next draft, and go from there. Yeah. So I'll start with the outline, save it, duplicate, draft 1, write in that, finish draft 1, save, duplicate, draft 2, start working in that.
I just like having it all in Scrivener. Like the multiple versions are there, but it's like in one window for me because I'm just like, I don't need to be, because I used to have stuff saved in like a million different folders, and I still do because of all the covers I have for books that like I haven't published yet and things like that. But it's like, if it's the writing stage, I just want it all in one place now. Like I don't have time to be going through folders.
Yeah, I have them. So they're different docs, but all in one folder. Yeah. But I haven't tried Scrivener yet.
I'm coming out with a guide. I'm waiting until grad school's done. And then in the extra 3 hours a week of free time I'll have, I'm telling myself I'll get the Scrivener out guide very fast.
I'll tell you what it is. I'm too lazy to learn how to use it on my own. So yeah, if you want to make a guide, help a girl out.
Yeah, no, I really want to, and I've been wanting to, and I already have stickers for keyboard shortcuts. So if people want to pre-order those are at my Ko-fi page, ko-fi.com/Sarah. And like the guide will go through everything. It's just I have the screenshots. This girl hasn't unformatted everything and written everything else to go along with the screenshots.
So I
was busy.
This reminded me, we had talked about me reading something. It's like sensitivity reader, but like after the fact. We talked about like me reading something and being like,
you were screening. You were going to be screening books for me.
I was thinking about that, and I know that I have like so many other things that I should be doing, but I feel like I should put some kind of request form, like for free, on my Ko-fi, because I want to read the books anyway.
Why make it free? Make it a commission. You can price it as low as you want. And then you can bump up the price later when you're like, you know what? This is taking a toll on my mental health.
This is fair. But like I would be getting a ton of book recommendations, and it would be right up my alley because I feel like it would be a lot of like I'm going to do it.
Yeah, but like put something in the when they order where you're like, this is on a first come first serve basis. Or it's like, thank you for your order. Unless you've like given a deadline by which you want my assessment of this book, like I'll get to you when I get to you type of thing, whatever you want. You set the parameters.
I'm gonna go do this during the next. I have a lot. Yeah, we're gonna do it. It's happening.
Yeah, no, do that before you even edit the book. That's gonna give you joy. But definitely forget the paperwork. You deserve a little bit of a treat.
I really do. It's been the worst.
Okay, we're starting the next sprint, or we never will. But I'm going to put my Ko-fi up as the banner since Charlie is not here. And this is where you can get the Scrivener keyboard shortcut sticker, so that if you do already use it, you can at least start learning some stuff before my guide comes out. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. How did everyone do?
I almost finished my request form. I will post if someone wants to test it for me in a second to make sure I have my
I'll do
settings right. But that's pretty much all I did.
I mean, that's still something.
Yeah, and it was fun. It's fun.
I started a Ko-fi post, so I'm halfway through that.
Yeah, everyone on the Ko-fi train this morning. Even or afternoon if you're Nina.
I did not work on Ko-fi. I'm sorry. I
Get out of
finished-
here, Nina.
I finished reading Breakable Things by Katie Wismer, and then I cuddled my puppy because he was upset.
Because of the construction.
Yes, and he needed some cuddles and some treats.
That is totally fine.
That's adorable.
I read 8 pages, which is pretty good given how slow this manuscript moves. But I was just getting into the groove of one of the point of view characters, and you know what happened? Just like I called it, point of view character switched.
You know, I started reading a book on Audible, and within the first, not even the first chapter, they'd already switched POVs so many times, and it's not like a paragraph switch. It was like, at this point, I'm not sure if this would count as head hopping more than POV switching, because it feels like head hopping, but this was also legitimately this is a published work of fiction. So
I mean, I've read books where it's like traditionally published and it's head hopping, and I'm like, how?
when I say legitimately published, I don't mean traditionally published or self-published. I mean it's someone took the time to sit down and write this and make it an audio book.
Because I'm trying to think. So I think maybe in the Belgrave Daughter, the old version of the Belgrave Legacy, which then got rewritten to become part 1 of the Belgrave Legacy, which you can buy. And then there's the Belgrave Legacy trilogy, which is the Belgrave Legacy, Unmoored, and Taming the Alpha. I think there was a time where I was having a single chapter have a scene from POV 1, scene break, POV 2, new chapter, rinse and repeat. But then if I remember correctly, I read this a long time ago, I wound up doing it by chapter. And I know that's what I did for my Stellar Blood trilogy. And the Matchmakers, my Nano project, and my November Nano project, and my camp project this month, although like we discussed earlier, camp is we're trying. This is only from one point of view, and it's written in it's first person present tense, which I haven't written since. I mean, aside from when I continued writing this story in November, I think the last time I actually wrote first person present tense was maybe 11, and I'm 25 now. I was 24 when I was finishing this draft, and I was just like, there's a reason I don't write this way anymore. But at the same time, the story just wouldn't work. And I tried writing a scene as third person past the way I've written everything else, and it just wouldn't work. And I'm like, God damn.
You know, though, I have in the project that I've been struggling with, Black Eyed Susan, I've been dealing with the same thing. And when I was struggling to write scenes, I started to change POVs, and I started playing with the tense of the story. Like, it's going to be a hot mess when I edit. I know this.
There was one chapter that I uploaded to Story Origin, which is how I distribute my like alpha reader copies to people, because they can do inline comments, but it's like a sign up form that I don't have to create externally, and then like whatever. So there was a chapter where I wrote it, and I knew I was like doing weird stuff with tense or whatever. I knew it was wrong. Like, it wasn't like intentional experimental tense stuff. This was just like, my brain is not correctly functioning, but like I need to write this in whatever way I can or it won't get done. And then I tried to fix what I could, and then I was like, I know there's still stuff wrong. My brain can't fix it right now. Sorry, everyone. Know that I know that this is wrong. Please just tell me how, because my brain is fried.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I push chapter by chapter. So.
Can I just say, though, I feel like that's one of the hardest things to edit.
Tense?
Yeah. Because for me, I like, when I'm on a roll, I'm on a roll. But when I'm looking at like some correct, some incorrect, I like correct it incorrectly, or like I gradually drift. And I'm like, you know, until I hit the rumble strip, and then I'm like, oh, this is bad. And then I go back and I'm like,
strip.
I'm like trying to figure out where I went wrong. And so it takes like 3 times as long as any other kind of editing for me.
Normally I'm pretty good. It's just because this is like my first, this was my first book in 6 books that I didn't write in third limited past. I don't do omniscient. I'm like, I can't do that. And then the one that I wanted that I'm going to be doing for this coming like official November Nano, is my new adult spy thriller, and that's third person limited, but also only from one point of view. And it's like, I don't know, I miss being able to jump into another point of view where it's like, okay, I can end the scene because it's a good spot to end for this character, but the story can still progress because I have this other character that I then need to move forward. It's like, nah, if you left your character here, you got to get them to the next point.
It's the worst.
Sucks. So I saw people in the comments getting like multiple hundreds of words, which is awesome. Michael will always like synthesize what I say during a live stream, and I'm like, wow, I really was like a crazy kid.
Yeah, my first attempt at drafting a story was so tragic. I mean, my second attempt was also tragic, but you know, I made it like 3 chapters in before I got distracted. But
if it makes people feel better, I didn't like write my first real story until I was like 8. Like up until then, like everything I wrote, even if it was like a good story idea, was like trash in how it was executed. I didn't like just come out of like Zeus's head fully formed with like, I know how the different points of view and tenses work and what works best for each story. I wouldn't.
Going back to my first draft of anything like that I actually completed hurts my feelings.
I saw a thing on Twitter where it said, reading any of my old work is like, damn girl, you wrote this affectionately, or damn girl, you wrote this derogatively. And then someone else added, I'm also, damn girl, you wrote this forgetfully. And I'm like, true. It's like one of those 3. You spin the wheel.
Yeah.
See, I do that now though. I'll go back and I'm very bad at titling my files, so I'll read something and I think, oh, this is something Sid wrote, or maybe this is something Kira wrote, and I'm very confused. And they're like, "We didn't write this. This is you." I'm like, "Oh," and I'm shocked. And I'm like, "How do I write it like that again?" And I'm very much confused. And I do that a lot, and I really should.
So just to give some context for how my writing was going, where I left off, I legitimately, the last sentence that I wrote
In the camp project that you're going to be switching
from.
to. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The last sentence that I wrote was, the woman was too stunned to speak.
It's not the worst.
I know, I wrote it and I was like, you need to take a break from this. I thought about it and I'm like, that's good. And I wrote it down, I'm like, this is bad. Decisions were made.
I'm sorry.
I like to leave myself little nuggets like that for when I'm editing, and I'm just like, really? Really? That's what you went with?
It's like, I know you're trying to be cute, but I'm not amused because now I have to fix this.
Oh, gosh. It did kind of fit, though.
Okay, we're gonna start our third sprint.
Oh, what's that? The code? 5-6.
Oh, sorry. 5-6. Mike, Sierra, Quebec. Zulu, Foxtrot, Sierra, Golf. You know, like when you eat too fast and suddenly you feel like you have to swallow around the food because it didn't go all the way down fast enough? Yeah, that just happened to me, which is why I had those very weird pauses in saying the letters. I'm like, I must look like I'm going crazy or something.
Michael, you kill it out here with the comments.
I feel like he's giggling to himself as he's typing these out. I swear.
If he's not, I would be disappointed because I feel like he'd be denying himself some level of joy that he could be having.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. With that said, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. How did everyone do?
Finished the post, got that done, and now I'm staring at a book, trying really hard not to buy it.
We're not the group of people to talk out of it.
Don't you have something that you're supposed to be rewarding yourself for or something? I'm not helpful.
I know you were going to be helpful with that because I was like, oh, I shouldn't have stayed up until 5:30 a.m. And you're like, I support that decision.
I'm not the one. I finished updating my Ko-fi, and while I was at it, I went through and updated my covers for each of the different things that I offer.
Cool.
And made them match and pretty. And then I went through some emails because I'm not procrastinating. And I'm completing a co-host form for present company. And
you're doing every other paperwork except the paperwork.
Listen.
Hey, if you're filling out my form, I'm happy. I'm like, great.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. So yeah, it's been very productive, and I am not avoiding anything. Why would you even say that?
Just a random thought. Totally crazy. Nina, how'd you do?
I started setting up my Scrivener file for a new project. It's going okay. I have like the chapter outline, but my chapter outlines are usually just one sentence per chapter, so it's not a lot. But I am trying to set that up in Scrivener so I can have it to the side and it looks pretty. But that's gonna take a bit because I have to copy and paste everything, and my laptop is quite slow today, so we'll see.
I did nothing except watch part of the Pink Popcast's reaction to episode 5 of season 2 of Bridgerton. Because they post their reactions on Wednesday nights, by which point I'm like too burnt out after work, and Saturdays, normally, by which time I'm like, if I'm not already burnt out, I should be doing my own novel work instead of watching these two guys like just lose it and stuff. So I'm happy. I only have like 16 pages left before I finish this part of the manuscript, and then I'll have 4 more parts, but I think they all get longer after that. So, but like I can do 16 pages in the next 25 minutes. So that's what I'll be doing.
I'm just looking at all the comments of everyone getting so much stuff, and y'all.
I know I'm seeing like multiple hundreds of words like all the time, and I'm just like, oh, what is that like?
I'm proud of you, but that hurts me.
Yeah, I'm proud of all of you, but like I don't feel like I've had that feeling since November.
Seconded.
It hurts. Oh, also, if you all have a book description that you'd like critiqued by me, because I am a literary agent assistant, I'm doing a live stream potentially next Saturday or the Saturday after, depending on what Kelly says, where I'll be critiquing book descriptions for free. I write them as a service, and then I also, there's some other service that I'm forgetting the name of that I post on my Ko-fi forever ago, where it's like, I'll critique a book description if you have one. But basically, this is like your chance to get it for free. So I'm popping the form in the chat.
Nice.
I type back book description. Right. Someone let me know if this link didn't work because like my finger slipped or something, but I'm pretty sure I spelled everything correct. Writing got 799 words. That's crazy.
It works.
So jealous, also so proud. Okay, let me share the forest room code for our final sprint. Come on. Okay. Yay, the link worked. Okay, cool. The forest room code is 3 Echo Romeo 3 X-ray Foxtrot 7 Sierra Golf. And Chandra will probably be the first one to tell me that I typed it in wrong. If I did. So.
Is it E or X?
For where?
3E or 3X?
3ER and then 3XF.
Okay.
Grayson's in, which means I didn't mess up. Okay, I'm gonna put this up. What is this writing sprint soundtrack that it's recommending me? Oh, it's by Bethany Atazada. Oh, okay, I'll check that out later. In 3, 2, 1, happy productivity, everyone. How did everyone do?
I am doing more of this form, this paperwork. It's been a jolly good time. It's absolutely wonderful.
I was checking my Cascade to see what I have left to do, and then I was fixing some parts of my story Bible on Notion.
I set up my Scrivener document, and I feel a little dumb because it took me until now, and I've had Scrivener for a while, to realize that you can turn on page view, because that's something that has always bothered me, that I can't, like, that it's for Scrivener Windows at least. The new one, it's just one big white block, and I didn't like that, and I
No,
wanted to,
with Mac 2, you have to turn that view on.
and I didn't know that you can do that or how to do that, and I just accidentally did it. And now I feel like I could have used Scrivener so much more, because it looks more pleasing to me. But now I know, so.
Whatever works. I did not read all 16 pages. I read 11. So, almost.
That's still really good, though. 16 pages in 25 minutes is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like this POV the best, but he's outnumbered by the girl POVs, so I have a feeling like I'm not going to be, like, maybe we'll return to his POV, but I don't have much hope for it, so. Like, I'd rather it be told not from the first person's point of view, but, like, maybe the second one's if it were, like, rewritten, and then this one is, like, a well-written POV. Not done. I have to finish reading it by the end of tomorrow, so there's only so long it can last anyway. Let's do outros. So Chandra, you're first.
Hi everybody, my name is Candra Arthur. I write science fiction, historical fiction, and fantasy. Sometimes I make videos. Mostly I'm just half of Flash Fiction Live, which you can find on Saturday mornings at 8:30 to about 10:55. Definitely check that out on either my channel or Natalie Locke's channel, who is my co-host and collaborator. Also, I put something new in my Ko-fi store, so go see that.
Which I did just dive into, by the way, to get the beta reader template. So thank you for that.
Is there a delay for Chandra or something?
Am I frozen?
No, you just didn't respond to Grayson saying something. So I was like,
oh, I'm sorry. No, say that again. My brain is not. The lights are on. Nobody's home. Say again. Sorry.
You mentioned your store, and I actually just dove into that and got your beta reader template. I was like, oh, thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yay.
I do love the images for each of them now.
Me, am I frozen? Yes. Yes.
Up here.
That's amazing.
Okay, Grayson, do you want to continue with your outro?
Sure. What up, everybody? My name is Grayson Wild, and I write with pride. I like diving into fantasy and warm mugs of coffee. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. I am quite often on Twitter, distracting myself when I should be writing. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. And I will be getting better at updating Ko-fi, because I know I tend to forget quite often.
It's okay. Everyone needs to get better at it. I need to get better at it, and I'm an ambassador. But I've gotten enough authors to come over where I'm like, I've done my duty. I'm just continuing to do it because I love it so much, and I want everyone to do well on the platform. But But yeah.
I'm actually gonna. I need to add that to my Cascade so I can see. Hey, I need to update my Ko-fi, or I need to add stuff. So I need to remember to do that. Actually, I'll do that now.
I have it in my Notion content calendar for every week, and then there are just days where it's like, I know I'm supposed to do it today, but I just can't. But it's like, it's always there in front of me staring at me to be like, if you had your shit together, you would be posting regularly on all your platforms.
I need a nap, like big time.
Okay, so Nina, why don't you do your outro very fast so poor Chandra can.
My name is Nina. I'm a writer from Austria. I sometimes write, and I don't know what I will be doing in the future, so we'll see. But thank you for having me. And I also have to get better at Ko-fi. I'm trying, but I'm trying. That's all I can say.
Yeah, good for you. Look, we all get better at it over time. Also, it's a ticker. Of course, it's going to scroll past my finger, but then it comes back.
Also, I did not mean to rush you. I was just blurting out the fact that I realized that my brain disconnected mid. So, like, no rush at all. I'm just here.
Okay, so again, thank you, Chandra. Her Ko-fi is linked on screen and down below. Grayson, same deal. Nina, same deal. Charlie was supposed to join us. Her Ko-fi link is in the description down below. And if anyone is new, my name is Zara Hoffman. I'm the self-published author of 6 books, a young adult paranormal romance trilogy and a new adult sci-fi romance trilogy. I sell signed paperback copies through my Ko-fi shop to the US and Canada. If you live internationally, I sell signed book plates that you can like put in as a sticker. I offer a lot of services for authors, whether you are looking to be traditionally published or indie published. So it doesn't matter what track you're looking at, you can check those out. Also, I have a Ko-fi guide for writers as a PDF that you can download. So if you're thinking about opening a virtual tip jar, use Ko-fi, not Patreon, because Patreon takes your money and Ko-fi won't. And yeah, so that talks about why it's better. And it also talks about how to succeed like I have on the platform. And I am also the co-creator and co-host of the Writish podcast with fellow AuthorTuber Kelly Wright. We talk about all things related to being an author. So that includes like mental health, where you like just can't force yourself to write on a certain day, but also like tiny new idea syndrome, imposter syndrome, our different forms of revision. We also interview a lot of my grad school professors who are all professionals in the publishing industry. So yeah, be sure to check that out. All of my links are also in the description down below. So thank you to everyone for joining, and I will be live next Sunday, same time, 9 a.m. Eastern.